All right, guys. Tony Maritato here. So I am here with Joseph Lowe. Joseph and I actually connected on LinkedIn, which is still bizarre to me. I just got onto LinkedIn. I say just, it's probably a year ago, but I'm trying to understand the LinkedIn community, the personalities on LinkedIn, what LinkedIn does. And I've made so many powerful connections through LinkedIn, you being one that I'm excited to talk to. Joseph, take a minute, just kind of introduce yourself to the viewers and let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah, I'm the founder of Pure PT Supply, physical therapy supply company, and I got started kind of in the selling physical therapy products a couple months ago. But I've mostly been running Facebook ads and been in the e-commerce space ever since high school. So I started selling T-shirts, print-on-demand T-shirts on a company called Teespring, way back in the days when I was still in high school, and then that kind of evolved to selling wooden watches, crystal balls, more T-shirts, tons of knickknacks that I got overseas from China, along with my two older brothers. And then I kind of turned that into doing some e-commerce consulting, running Facebook ads for clients and companies. And then that kind of landed me now with taking a lot of those skills. And I met an amazing physical therapist about a year and a half ago. His name is Eve Gigi. He's pretty well known in the space. He's one of the owners of Physical Therapy Biz, which is a cash practice mastermind kind of company. And I met him, and he kind of showed me a lot of things about the physical therapy market, just all the numbers, the products, and everything I had no idea about. So then I said, oh, perfect. Let's kind of mesh the two skills together. And here I am.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things that you can share just related to, as soon as you said Facebook ads, anybody who's watching this, I'm sure their ears perked up. I obviously come from a generation well before Facebook ads. Like I was thinking, I started my practice in 2001, 2002. We didn't have anything like that. So I was paying for, advertorials in the newspaper. I was paying for different display ads and calendars and different things that I would send out to the community. In fact, you probably don't know this story. When I started my physical therapy practice, we were so strapped for cash, we would generate content, we would print brochures. I would get a whole bunch of free newspapers that they had down in Florida. I would stuff them with my circular, my flyer, and then I would go in the middle of the night and deliver them to driveways all around the neighborhood around my clinic, because that was the only thing I could afford to do to get the word out to residents who are within a 1 or 2 mile radius of my physical therapy clinic. So talking about your experience now with Facebook and optimization and all that stuff, like what are some interesting lessons you've learned over the years that would benefit physical therapists and private practice?
I've definitely learned a lot. I've spent seven figures on the platform, probably eight figures if you include clients' money, but seven figures of my personal money ever since high school. And the marketing on Facebook has changed a lot. So when I was in high school, you could put up just a basic image of a T-shirt saying, "Hey," as long as it had a halfway decent design, and you could make money. You could be profitable right out the gate. You were paying 10 to 20 cents per link click. Your CPMs were like $3. I mean, it was a joke. Like if I knew what I do now and could go back to when I was in high school, it would be crazy. But Facebook has definitely changed a lot. Their ad costs go up every year. This is, pretty much a known fact for people that run ads. Stuff gets more expensive. And I think when it comes to running local ads, there's actually a lot of benefits that you have as a local business owner that a lot of people don't. They don't talk about. They think, oh, I'd rather be a nationwide company and spending all this money and growing these big brands, and that is true. But when you're in a local market, your customer. Physical therapists have a ton of access to making amazing content, like you do, getting customer testimonials, posting reels, growing a following. You also know exactly who your customers are and where they are. So a lot of these companies that spend all this money, they don't necessarily know where their customers are. But for you, your customers are probably anyone that lives 20 to 30 minutes outside of the town in Ohio that you're treating. So that's all, you're off to a great start. You can make a lot more personalized content, like right out in the start of a video. Hey, are you someone in pain that lives in Columbus, Ohio? You can start to really dive deep and talk directly to your local town, which I think is a plus. A lot of big companies, they can't do that. Um, A couple of the actionable items I would say when it comes to running Facebook ads, I know there's a ton of content out there, courses, people selling, all sorts of stuff. Is the most important aspect of running Facebook ads for clinic owners today is the content. So 5 years ago, Facebook ad targeting was a lot harder. You had to select specific interest groups. You had to do a lot more work when it came to targeting. Now they have all types of AI optimized audiences. They call it Advantage Plus audiences, where you basically say, Facebook, go ahead and market to the people that you think will make me money. And from all the client accounts I have, those consistently outperform when manual targeting options that I select myself. So Facebook is
Wow.
beating me in multiple niches, local and nationwide companies. So that's the starter. So Facebook's actually made it a lot easier and a lot simpler for people that are not maybe tech savvy or marketing savvy to run ads. Because 5 years ago, there was a lot more stuff you had to know. And when it comes to content, I tell people you can go on Facebook ad library, just type in Facebook ad library. Every ad from every company is public knowledge, public data. So if you want to go steal the tips and tricks from the largest physical therapy companies in the country or from e-commerce brands, you want to get some amazing content ideas, you can watch all of their stuff. So it's not as if you have to come up with all of these fresh ideas. If you know of a successful physical therapy clinic that might be a competitor, maybe your friend owns one and they have all these amazing Facebook ads, go on Facebook ad library, type in the name of their page. You can see all of their videos, all of their pictures. That doesn't tell you what works and what doesn't work, but you can kind of get an idea of, okay, these companies are running, videos that look like this, or they're running images that look like this. So that kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out. And then some practical stuff, run lead forms, and run content that's maybe 15 to 20 seconds tops. The first 3 seconds is by far the most important part. You got to grab people's attention. I'm sure you know this with a lot of
Sure.
the reels and stuff that you post. So the first 3 seconds is the most important. Customer testimonials and UGC, user generated content is always great stuff and always works well. So getting patient reviews if you can, which as a local business owner, these are people that you see all the time and are in your clinic, in your studio. So it's not that hard to find them. You just got to ask them and get their permission. Um, Running special offers can be a great way. $19 evals, $25, promo offers to get people in the door. Obviously, the offers are going to change a lot if you're a cash practice, selling $2,000 plus packages, or you're an insurance based clinic, or you're a hybrid. So your offer obviously is going to change depending on the type of clinic you have. But I would say it's not that hard. Draw a map, 21-mile radius around where your clinic is, choose advantage audiences, run a lead gen campaign, and get some amazing photos and some amazing videos up. Start split testing. Your first video is not going to be amazing most of the time. Facebook gives you instant feedback. They say, hey, this video is costing $5 for a click or $30 for a lead. This other one is half the price.
Wow.
2 + 2 = 4. I'll turn
Yeah.
that one off. I'll make more videos like this. And then you just keep going. And then eventually it kind of becomes like a skill set that you pick up.
Let me ask you, I follow on, YouTube, Ryan Pineda and a bunch of other guys in that space. I listen to some of the stuff they talk about related to paid ads versus organic. Now, I've always only ever done organic, like very, very rarely will I put any money behind something as a paid ad. And a couple times that I tried it myself and I just, it was a waste of money. One of the newer kind of philosophies that I see floating around is put out organic content, not trying to sell, not trying to convert per se, just offering genuine value. When I share a video from my clinic, I'm answering a question like literally before you and I got on. Earlier today, I was recording up pieces of content in the clinic where I'm answering questions that real patients are asking me. And I put that stuff out there. Now, recently, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I had a 32-second short video that went on YouTube Shorts and it blew up to 415,000 views. So
Damn.
what these other guys are saying now is the combination of organic and paid. So organic might be the first point of contact for a potential prospect. Then they get your paid content, which they already have an idea of who you are because of the organic, and the organic helps improve the performance of the paid content. And then the paid doesn't necessarily immediately convert, but it brings them back into more organic content where then eventually they're going to convert because you've become their best friend. I mean, I've had so many people that tell me, Tony, I've watched all of your Total Knee videos. I feel like I know you personally. And it's true. Like when they come into my clinic, I've never quote converted or sold someone. They come in dying to see me because in their mind, we already spent 10 hours together, through
Yep.
video form. Is there anything to that, like the organic and the paid combined?
Oh, 100%. So again, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, you could create a Facebook page, yesterday, start spending, $5,000 on ads as long as you had a good offer and a good product, and you could be profitable. Facebook has actually gone away from that model. They implemented a ton of different things. Like you got to have a verified page. They start you out at like $5 spending limits, so you can't just pop up. There's all the scammers all the time would pop up, spend 100,000 and disappear. So they went away with all that. But to your point, like if I were to take identical company physical therapy clinic A and B, run identical ads to identical customers, and clinic A had a great organic following. They had 5,000 Instagram followers, a couple thousand YouTube followers. They had a lot of content, a lot of likes, good social presence. Those ads would perform better than company B, even if the ads are identical. If company B has barely any Google reviews, nothing on Instagram, nothing on Facebook, just absolutely nothing. Because a lot of people are going to click on your page as you're advertising. Well, let's see what Tony's all about. If they see a great ad and they click on your page, they see, a one-star review, no content, nothing to go off of, especially when making an important decision like, who am I going to spend money and trust with my care? Um, you know, it's it's night and day as far as the results that you're going to get long term. Another thing, Gary Vee talks about this all the time, but using like organic content, it's free to post. You can post as much as you want, as often as you want. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. So before you spend a lot of money on paid ads, you say, okay, what from my organic content that I've already posted is working? You've posted 100 reels. More often than not, the reels that do the best are going to be the best as far as for running for ads. Now, granted, you can't necessarily just take the exact reel and post as an ad because you have to have some type of offer for the most part. You have to have a lead form attached. You have to make a couple adjustments, but you get a good idea of what do people want to watch from me. If you post a reel that only gets 500 views, one that gets 100,000, you already have a good idea of what you want to post. So that's two things right there. And then I was going to say so also the algorithms, you do better when you have a following than if you don't. That's just the truth. And then one thing I told Dave this actually, I don't know if he told you, but I was helping run some ads for him for free because I just met him on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
And so, like Facebook ads are a sunk cost. When you spend $100, $100 is gone, and you want to make sure that you do your best to monetize that traffic. So having a following, having a ton of videos um, for people to watch, you advertise to them, they saw you, they heard your name. Give them something else that doesn't cost any money for them to learn more, and maybe they'll come back in 2 months after a YouTube video, but it was the ad itself where they saw you first, or it could be they saw you on YouTube first and then they saw an ad. They said, okay, now I'm ready to make a decision. But they definitely
Yeah.
go hand in hand. So the more organic content you can post, the better content you can make, the better your ads are going to do every time.
Now, let me ask you from an outsider's perspective, a non-clinician, and I've said countless times, I think the worst person to own a physical therapy business is a therapist because we're too close to it. We can't see clearly. Like we're too ingrained. We're blinded by what we love and what we care about. Um, I came into physical therapy. I was not a physical therapist, but I owned a physical therapy clinic. And I feel like, obviously I'm I'm probably biased the other way, but I just think I could look at things so much more objectively, improve the patient care experience, improve the business performance, give my staff what they needed to feel good about. you as an outsider who's not a physical therapist, looking at the profession, looking at the industry, what are some of the things that you see, whether it be just general business concepts or it be social media specifically concepts? What do you see that, has the biggest opportunity for us as a profession moving into the future?
I feel like I'm going to get in some hot water here with all the
Let's see
physical
it.
therapy clinic owners that I know. But so you're right. I made a post recently that the sad truth about being a physical therapy owner is the lowest ROI decision that you can make oftentimes is treating patients.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, as in, if you're treating patients, you're pretty much saying my time is worth what I pay my employees. Whether
Right.
it's $30 an hour, whatever the case is. But you're a business owner. Now, this happens to everybody. If you start a brand new business, I understand you have to do everything. You have no money. You have to get some money in the door, patients in the door before you can hire others. But like, you go to school, you spend all this time, all this money learning, all of this interesting stuff to be a PT, and then you realize that I'm actually, costing myself money by using those skills. Um, so I actually see content as a kind of a creative outlet for physical therapists that they want to treat because that's their passion. That's what they went to school for. They are a physical therapist. Now they own this business, and it's kind of a tough call. Actually, I need to spend time doing other things, not actually treating. So I would say that the first biggest thing, making content and optimizing your social presence is, especially in 2024, with all the amazing tools with AI, all these subscriptions and features. As a business owner, that is something that you need to spend a lot of time on. Either you're going to spend time on it, or you're going to pay someone an arm and a leg to do it for you, or you're not going to do it at all. Those are kind of the only three categories. And I would definitely recommend, don't pay someone an arm and a leg, to do it when you can do it on your own. But you got to start with the simple stuff. I have some, I'm not going to name their names, but customers that order from us, and I like to keep tabs on what they're doing, go to their Instagram pages. And I've seen some just god awful websites from some of these customers. Website's terrible. Google review profile is terrible. No Facebook posts, no Facebook ads, 100 Instagram followers with lackluster content. I mean, no offers, no email follow-ups on the back end. I mean, all of these things is something that a business owner can set up probably within a week. If they have no skills, go on YouTube and say, okay, here's the app I have, or here's the app I need to get for $30 a month. Start with a Google review profile manager, or there's apps that send automated emails out to get reviews. There's that. Then so, okay, let's start with that low hanging fruit, as I would call it. Then say, okay, let's edit my website, or pay someone $1,000, $2,000. Website stuff is one of the things that you might have to pay someone for because it takes a lot of time. Then we got to go make content. Like, I think you can speak to this, but it is so easy to make content. Like, you take out your phone and you start recording. It's not that difficult. There's so many tools. There's a tool that I use called Opus Clips, where you just post an entire 15-minute piece of content. AI automatically chops it up, adds subtitles, and snags the. I think that's creating profitable offers in marketing. So educating yourself as much as possible on how to market a local business. So that's like organic content is one way, but as far as running paid ads, whether that's Google ads or whether that's Facebook ads, there's so much free content on YouTube you can watch. A 2-hour course, a 3-hour course on how to get Facebook ads up and running, how to create amazing offers, whether that, if you're a cash practice, that might look a lot different as far as getting people in the door for evals to then upsell them, a very expensive, 3-month or 6-month package. If you're a hybrid or an insurance-based clinic, it's definitely going to look a lot different. You want to get people, you want to partner up with local, it could be local gyms, local healthcare facilities, and then running ads for, one ad I see a lot is like a $29 or $39 plan of care type offer, where like you'll go in, you pay $39, you get this amazing plan of care. They see you for an hour, and then most likely you're going to want to come back. So that's another thing you can do. But just content marketing and just general business growth, I see a complete lack of a lot of that stuff in a lot of clinics. And the sad thing is, it doesn't cost a lot of money to learn. It's all free. You can go on YouTube and learn it. and you become pretty proficient at it. You're probably not going to become an expert at it overnight, but this is stuff that is going to drastically change your business over 3 to 6 months. You might not like learning it because you went to school for physical therapy and now you're watching Facebook ad videos and stuff, but you're a business owner, and the hard truth is you got to have to do stuff that you don't want to do, to grow your business. So
Yeah, and I think that's why I say the worst person to be a business owner is the therapist, because so many of us, we went to school, we wanted to be a therapist, we're good at being a therapist, so we want to be able to deliver those services. We don't want to figure out how to run Facebook ads and record. I've been recording YouTube videos probably, if I go way, way, way back, like 2013, 2012. I think I have some videos on my YouTube channel that are unlisted that I share every now and then. I think I was on, I can't even remember. It was some sort of like flip camera or something like that. And I was recording tutorials on how to do certain exercises because I thought that's what people wanted to see on YouTube. Now, fast forward today, and what I realized, what works best for me is still the basic. You answer the question you get the most often. What should I use, heat or ice? What's better, stretching or strengthening? All these different questions we get. And even though there's been a million people that have answered that same question, you're answering that question in a way that's unique to you, and you're sharing your tone of voice, you're sharing your corny jokes, you're sharing your unique personality, whether you're kind of tighter personality or more fun or whatever. And I think that's what patients are looking for. Now, let me ask you this relative to the platforms, and this is kind of a loaded question, I guess, because there is no real solid answer. Where do you see the most opportunity today for a therapist who's like, okay, I need to get the message out, nobody knows that I exist? Where do you think they should put their time when we're talking across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever?
So if the goal is to get more patients, as in I want to grow my practice and get more patients, my answer would be Facebook and Instagram for sure. Now, obviously, they're kind of one and the same because Facebook owns
Yeah.
Instagram, and the platforms are connected. But Facebook and Instagram easily would be my top answer. Now, if you're a physical therapist that says, "Hey, I want to make content and sell courses on how to grow other people's clinics," or I want to sell, packages or do various things, I would say LinkedIn and YouTube, you're probably better off. Like if you want to sell a $500 or $1,000 package for other clinic owners to buy, or want to get into that space. But if you're just trying to grow your clinic and you want to get local members of the community to come in and pay, find out about your practice, Instagram and Facebook by far are going to be the best platforms. And I think Instagram specifically, I would say, but again, they're pretty much one and the same to me because you can post, like if you make a post on Facebook, you can have it set so that it automatically posts on your Instagram page. And then they just kind of grow together because it doesn't take really any additional work to post on both platforms. Um, there's so many examples of small business owners using Instagram in a fantastic way. Whether that's restaurants posting pictures of meals and doing like I live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, so hashtag Harrisburg, hashtag Central PA, all these kind of hashtags, and you'd be surprised how many people are on Instagram and they'll just put in their area or like hashtag local events and just kind of search for stuff like that. And of course, Facebook and Instagram, they know where all the users are at. So they're going to show them every now and then, they're going to show them content that pertains to them because they're in a local area from a local business. So those two platforms, 100%. And then I would also say the YouTube is probably, if you want to have a massive following, YouTube is definitely the easiest platform to get a lot of eyeballs. But one thing I talk about is more eyeballs is not necessarily better. Like we want high quality eyeballs. And if you're a physical therapy owner, all you should care about is I mean, it's kind of black and white, but will these people become customers? Will they pay me? Or do they just like watching my content and are not providing any real value? So you might have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, nationwide that love watching your content about knee replacements, et cetera, et cetera. But that probably would not drive a lot of, initial instant value to your local clinic for people to come in actually sign up and actually pay.
Now, I think this is a great point because I also talk to therapists all the time. I'm like, yeah, what are you selling, right? If you're only selling in-person sessions, then you have a very different audience with a different objective than if you're selling telehealth or telephone consultations. One of
Yep.
my favorite platforms that nobody ever talks about is a platform called clarity.fm. Now, originally, I found that platform because it was a place for me to schedule a paid call with somebody in tech. But what I did was I kind of reverse engineered it and I said, hey, I'm going to put up a profile. I'm going to answer questions for people who've had a knee replacement. It's voice only, so there's no video. I think video is very intimidating, both for the therapist and the patient. And so I could create a profile. I could share my profile on YouTube, on Facebook, or if anybody reached out to me, and the platform, they take 15% of the total value of the call, which is fine because they give me a texting option, they give me the toll-free number so I don't have to give out my personal number, and they track every minute of time on the phone. So even if I could sell a Calendly link with a 15-minute call, but we go 20 minutes on Clarity, I'll collect the extra 5 minutes of revenue. So like
Okay.
my national audience, I've got calls all the time from people all over the country, and they're paying 300 and I think it's $300 an hour that I set rate just to
Yeah.
talk to me. They already have their own therapist. They already have their own doctor. They're just looking for another opinion and someone to bounce ideas around. And that is like instant monetization for any of my social media content whenever I want to do it. And a lot of times I'll say, no, I'm not taking calls right now if I get too busy, but that's a great option. Then, of course, digital products. I just saw a therapist on TikTok. She's got almost 1 million followers on TikTok. She's got digital courses that range from like 99 to $300. And she's selling these courses, I'm sure, at just a ridiculous volume to individuals that have been consuming her video content and just have completely fallen in love with her treatment philosophy. They love what she says. They love the way she says it, even though it's the same stuff they can get for free on YouTube. She's just put it together in her own little way and now sells that for a couple $100. What about TikTok? Now, I'm brand new to the TikTok platform. I'm trying to understand TikTok shops. I'm trying to understand the affiliate program related to TikTok shops. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, I've literally been on for a month now. I'm trying to understand how I grow my following. Do you think there's opportunity for a therapist today moving onto the TikTok platform?
100%. So full disclosure, I'm not a huge TikTok user. Like I know I have to make a TikTok channel here pretty soon for my business. I haven't yet, but I will. Couple things with TikTok is if you're using one of those like social media scheduling apps, which I recommend everyone to do. So like if you're using, there's a couple like Opus Clips, for example, which is what I use, it automatically edits videos, chops things up. You can just connect any social account, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and from inside Opus Clips, I can post on all of them instantly. So because there's so many apps like that, it doesn't actually require any additional time to add on another social channel. So I would definitely recommend to anyone watching, of course, make a YouTube channel, sorry, a TikTok channel. Again, I still think that probably Facebook and Instagram would be more valuable. Again, if the sole purpose is I want to get patients in my clinic soon. I want to keep track of exactly what I'm posting and try to grow as fast as possible. So if that's the goal, Facebook and Instagram, I still think are number one. That being said, to your point, there's a lot of clinic owners that you know their goal is to make money, obviously, and serve patients, but they can also create a personal brand for themselves, like you have done. And in that regard, TikTok is going to be fantastic for getting the word out. I think you'll do pretty well getting a lot of views. I don't know how much of it's going to turn into revenue, like depending on what you're selling. I don't know if you're going for like the telehealth thing. That sounds amazing. You'd probably do really well on there to get phone calls. Um, as far as getting a bunch of people in your clinic in Ohio, depending on what you post, I'm not so sure. And I know you have some other kind of business ventures that are more geared towards clinic owners specifically. Probably would do pretty well on there. I know clinic owners, like swiping on TikTok just like everybody else. So I would put TikTok second behind Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I've just used Facebook and Instagram so much, and I've seen what it
Yeah.
can do for a local business, and it's just such an amazing platform, and I don't think people realize just how much value there is. So obviously, if you post today and you have no followers, don't expect anything.
Yeah.
You know this. Obviously, you started posting what 10 years ago or something, but
Yeah.
you just have consistency is the key. You got to post. You got to see how things do. You got to keep making content. Um, and then another thing, which is perfect, because you posted on LinkedIn about a reel that you made that got like 60,000 or 65,000
Yeah.
views already, and your average I looked for some of the other reels is like 500 or
Right.
750. I think one thing that very few people understand about social media algorithms is the if I make a piece of content that is 10% better, people would think, oh, you're going to get 10% more views, which is not the case at all. It can be what's the word I'm looking for? Like exponential growth. If you just get a certain hurdle, you get like the first 500,000 views, you get a lot of great reactions. The platform's sole purpose is to keep people on as much as possible. They want to get you spending as many hours as possible on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. So they're sharing the best content that, of course, the algorithm is saying, what do people like watching? What are they spending their time on? So they want to promote the best content possible. Like I had my average, say, impressions for a LinkedIn post, because I just started posting maybe a month and a half ago, it was like 500 impressions. I just had one that had the first one ever had 10,000, which is 20x. It's not a 20x better post. It just happened to do well. I didn't think it
Yeah.
was going to. I just posted just like anything else. Um, and there you get the same amount of impressions I would have gotten from the last 20 posts combined, just because people liked it. And I didn't know if they were going to like it. I just started posting. And you get better over time of identifying what are people going to like and what are they not like. But I'm sure you're still in the same boat. There's a lot of things that you post that surprise you. Oh man, this just went nuclear. Why didn't all my other stuff go nuclear, even though it looks pretty similar? And
Right.
there's not really a rhyme or reason sometimes. Sometimes stuff it just gets a ton of views. It's kind of like a snowball. If it's doing well, it does really well.
Yeah.
You have a post that does 500 views because the algorithm said, nah, it's not that good, or one that has 100,000. And sometimes there's not really much of it in between. It's just good or really, really good or just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, one of the things you talk about is building relationships. And I know you didn't want to come on here to talk about your PT supply company, Pure, tell me the name, Pure PT Supply. But
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the concept around building relationships, because that's what this is all about. When I post something on LinkedIn, I've seen consistently the ones that do the best, that get 10, 15, 20,000 impressions. I've had one that shot up to like 40 or 50,000 impressions.
Ooh.
Um, it's when somebody that I have a relationship with reposts or reshares that content, engages with the content. And so building relationships is absolutely so huge. Whether you're a local business owner, building relationships with influencers in the community. For me, I've got close relationships with a lot of local orthopedic surgeons. These are guys that work for the hospital. They're under pressure to refer to the hospital. They're technically not allowed to refer to me, but because we have that relationship, when they have a case that they're connected to, they will send that person to me, even if it means that they're going to get, quote, yelled at by the upper management. Relationships are so important. And I've seen in physical therapy, and you might have noticed this since you've been around, therapists have moved away from physician relationships because they want to go more direct to consumer, which is cool. I get it. I do plenty of direct to consumer. But I think to the point where now they're losing sight of the power. If I can build a genuine relationship with a local orthopedic, that orthopedic is going to see 40 or 50 people who need my services every single day. There's
Yeah.
nobody in that circle of influence that can tell that patient, go see Tony, and that patient will go more impactfully than the orthopedic. Like I've got patients coming into my clinic that are like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do therapy. I don't know why my doctor made me come here. Like they are completely against the idea of being a patient, yet they come because that orthopedic said, go to therapy, go see Tony. So let's talk about your business a little bit and how you're building these relationships with private practices and kind of even just, I want you to share the message around why you chose to go into the PT supply business in the first place, because I've heard you say it before, and I think it's an interesting message to share.
Yeah, so obviously I'm not a physical therapist. My mom is a physical therapist, so growing up, I always had free physical therapy, which is great. Unfortunately, I wish I valued it now that I'm a little bit older. I wish I valued it more than I did, as a youngster. When your mom's trying to help you out getting sports injuries, I'm just like, no, none of this stuff works. Get out of here. Uh, Looking back, obviously it does work out. Wish I would have listened a little bit more and started stretching more. Um, but like when I met Eve Gigi, who was awesome guy. We kind of started Pure PT Supply together. He didn't have enough time, so he very generously said, "You can have it. You can go ahead and run it. I have all these other businesses." But when I was working with him, and he would introduce me to all these physical therapy clinic owners, and I was talking with them, I just kind of heard like the overarching tone, and the same thing I heard over and over again was um, so many so many people in the physical therapy supply chain are kind of screwing the clinic owners. You hear all about it. You hear about the insurance rates being cut. You hear about people trying to stand up for local legislation to try and get, forget what it's called. You would know, like some states you have to go to a doctor to get like a prescription, yeah, to get to be able to see a physical therapist. So they're fighting against that. They feel like the insurance companies don't care. There's a lot of physical therapy product companies where I know the margins are just obscenely high. And people, PT clinic owners feel this kind of pressure, which I think kind of gave rise to the cash practice. Hey, we're going to do away with all that. We know our value. We're never going to accept insurance anymore. We're just going to, we're just going to bill people, whatever we want, so that we actually pay for some of these costs. And I kind of thought, okay, well, I've been sourcing products overseas ever since I was in high school. Are there ways that I could lower costs for clinic owners, give them exactly what they're getting now, and and kind of build a relationship as in, hey, we're partners in this venture. I'm trying to get product costs as low as humanly possible. I'm doing everything I can. That's packaging things in packs of 5 or 10. Most clinic owners don't need just one of something. And then I help them retail these products. They make more money on retail than I do, actually. Like everything, I'm trying to show them that everything about this business is the more the people order from me, the more I can buy, the lower the shipping costs are for me, the lower my product costs are. It's kind of like a domino effect. I can keep lowering costs. And the relationship aspect is I'm the only person running this business. So every email, text, and phone call to every customer, every clinic owner comes from me. And I definitely have felt like like I talked with one clinic owner down in South Carolina 2 days ago. I talked to her for 30 minutes on the phone, talking about her kids, talking about the business, talking about the location she has, giving her free tips on like stuff that I know about Facebook marketing, and just trying to let everyone know and make them all feel like, hey, this isn't this big, massive company that does 100 million or $1 billion. This is kind of a small local field, just like we are. We're a small local business. We partner with people in the community. And I think the PT industry, honestly, is kind of going in that direction. I posted about ATI
Yeah.
on the path to bankruptcy, actually. I read a couple articles. They have a 3 to 5 years. They're given a 70% chance to go under unless they get acquired or, you know, raise some more money. Not sure exactly what happened there, but there's so many examples of private equity buying clinics, local clinics, running them into the ground. They slap their name on it, and everything goes to shit. And I think that just kind of speaks to, this is a local, kind of small mom and pop feel. People want to feel like they're being seen by someone in the community. A lot of these clinic owners have been in the community for 30 years. They know most of the people. They build all these relationships, and that's something that you can't get from private equity, or that you can't get when you're bought out by a $1 billion company. And I think people are looking for vendors and suppliers of physical therapy clinics to kind of to go down that road. Say, hey, we're here to help. Obviously we're making money. We want to save you money. This is more of a partnership instead of, hey, here's my products, go buy it, go talk to a customer service agent, if you have any problems, and that's the end of it. So I think just kind of telling the story and clinic owners feeling like, wow, I can talk to the owner, and I hope that stays that way no matter how big we get.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I mean, going back 15 years, 20 years, I can remember supply companies. I would talk to them. There was a couple different ways we would do it. One supply company that's been acquired probably 10 times over by now, they would send a van out to the area. And whenever the van was going to come out, they would call me up. They'd say, "Hey, Tony, what do you need in stock?" And I would tell them a couple things. I need this, I need that. They would throw it on the van. They'd come over, they drop off whatever I needed. It was awesome. And I knew the guys and we had a good relationship. Then another supply company, kind of similar, they would talk to me probably on a monthly basis. Now, more recently, so those guys are all gone. Now, more recently, what I talked one supply company into, and I love it, I think it's awesome, is a monthly membership. So I used to do Dollar Shave Club, and you see all of
Okay.
these memberships. I told these guys, hey, there's this one product. I want this. I run out of it every single time. I don't want to waste time going on and reordering and going through all that stuff. Just send me 10 of these a month. Put it on a recurring, payment, auto draft the money from my account. If this is in my clinic, I will sell them. But if they're not in my clinic, I'm going to go months before I reorder just because I'm not thinking about it. And so there are things that you and I should connect on, talk about after this video, because there are some things that I think are kind of interesting in that space. But I love the idea of bringing back some old fashioned values, bringing back old fashioned relationships, getting to know the consumer, the supplier, and building that relationship again. And you said, which is true, it was either on your website or somewhere, those relationships get very sticky. And so once I've got a recurring order, once I've got supplies coming, I'm not thinking about switching. I'm not even thinking about pricing. It's just like auto draft, auto pay. I'm not worried about it because I'm going to use those materials. And so if it was hard for me to leave my original supplier to come to you, it's going to be hard for me to leave you to go to somebody else in a good way. But now, I mean, I think most days Amazon is everybody's supplier, so to leave Amazon's not a big deal as long as we have some sort of connection and relationship. And I think with your history on Facebook ads and all the other stuff, I always say, like, people don't necessarily come back to us because we're amazing therapists. There are amazing therapists everywhere. There's more skilled therapists all over my city. The reason why a person comes back to me is because they like the environment. They like the conversation. They like the approach. They like that I'm not going to hurt them in an attempt to make them better faster. And, I'm going to be patient with them. And if they call to cancel, I'm not going to charge them $50. It's okay. That's the relationship that we build with our patients. And it's interesting to see you doing that with other clinicians. Let's wrap up this session. What is the best way for people to connect with you? I'm only connected to you, to my knowledge, on LinkedIn, but what do you prefer?
LinkedIn. So I spend, like I talked about before, what channel is where are your ideal customers and what channel are they on? And
Yeah.
LinkedIn for me is number one. My main all my customers are physical therapy clinic owners. Majority of them are on LinkedIn. People that own or even people that work at massive, clinic like ATI, Select Medical. Of course, none of them order from me now, but hopefully one day an employee,
Yeah.
will see my post and kind of get curious. So LinkedIn, by far, is the platform I spend most of my time on, connecting with clinic owners, stuff like that.
Awesome. So guys, just look up Joseph Lowe on LinkedIn. I'll share your LinkedIn bio down in the description of the video. Joseph, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me on, Tony.